gym, was there any conversation around that at all?
Nah, even if it was, I don't even speak on, what other people got going on.
This week, Shakur Stevenson had a sparring session with Eddie Hearn, Terence Crawford, and Floyd Mayweather watching him closely. But things took an unexpected turn when an argument broke out between Floyd Mayweather and Terence Crawford after the session. Both were sitting ringside in the gym, while Shakur worked hard to prepare for his fight on February 22nd. Speaking to Fight Hype about his meeting with Floyd Mayweather, Stevenson said, "Man, I don't know how they all ended up in the gym. I feel like I should get an extra check for that. I'm always making moves behind the scenes, but I don't always get the credit. Still, I put together a solid plan and got everyone to show up to the gym. I really appreciate them for coming through and supporting me. I just try to take in all the knowledge and advice they give me and learn from it." Stevenson had originally signed with Floyd Mayweather, but later lost out to Eddie Hearn and Matchroom. While Hearn and Mayweather managed to put their rivalry aside to joke and talk, things weren't as smooth between Floyd Mayweather and Terence Crawford. Their friendship took a turn for the worse this year. It's shaping up to be a big year for Stevenson, but next month, he'll need to impress in his fight. As for Mayweather and Crawford, despite looking friendly in the gym, things took a different turn when Crawford confidently said he had no doubt he'd defeat Mayweather if they ever fought. That day in the gym, the focus wasn't on anything personal or the upcoming fight. It was all about my boxing.
Gym that day?
Nah, I just was talking about like my boxing. It wasn't nothing about no Kid Austin, the fight that I got coming up. It was more so just
There was no talk about any drama, just about the work. What actually brought everyone together was Shakur Stevenson's training methods. People don't realize just how incredibly hard Shakur trains. Eddie Hearn gave a glimpse into his mindset, saying that going without rest breaks and sleep is just part of the life of a world-class boxer. Sometimes, they'll tell you that's the reality of the grind. Look, it ain't the first time you've been around Floyd, it ain't the first time been around any of those guys, but that day, especially with you having this fight. And, a lot of people saying that maybe Kid Austin isn't ready for you. What kind of talk? What was the conversation talking to IFL about what he saw from Stevenson in the gym this week? Eddie Hearn shared, "What I love about being in environments like that is seeing the real passion for the sport." Last night, Terence was watching Shakur spar. Shakur did 14 4-minute rounds with just 30-second breaks. Terence and Floyd watched the entire session, then moved to another ring to watch Ray Ford spar. Floyd loves boxing. Terence loves boxing. They're both passionate about the sport. They love watching young fighters, giving advice, and seeing people from their community succeed. It was pretty cool to see. 14-minute rounds with 30-second breaks with little rest is no joke. That is hard times for whoever was on the receiving end of the sparring from Stevenson. Stevenson had a badly busted hand last year, so bad it put him in a hospital bed. At one point this year will be big, most likely from him. He fights next month in one of the best cards ever seen in boxing history on February 22nd. However, Crawford confidently claimed that he would beat Floyd Mayweather if they ever fought while the undefeated boxing legend was still active. The switch hitter from Omaha, Nebraska, is a 4-weight world champion with 31 knockouts to his name. Most recently, he secured the World Boxing Association title in the super welterweight division with a decision win over Israel Madrazo. This marked the 4th division in which Crawford has won belts. He's also been undisputed in 2 of those divisions, making him one of only 3 men to achieve that in the 4-belt era. Crawford continues to make his case as the best of his generation, with fans debating how he stacks up against all-time greats. One intriguing fantasy matchup that often comes up is against the last dominant American, Floyd Mayweather. However, Terence didn't bring up the fight, nor did Floyd say anything about it. There was no mention, no word from him on the topic, just silence. Mayweather, of course, famously retired undefeated in 2017, cementing his legacy as one of the most lucrative stars boxing has ever seen. The defensive master defeated the likes of top opponents throughout his career, securing his place in the sport's history.
Look, it ain't the first time you've been around Floyd. It ain't the first time you've been around any of those guys. But, that day, especially with you having this fight, and, a lot of people saying that maybe Kid Austin isn't ready for you. What kind of talk? What was the conversation like in the gym that day?
Canelo Alvarez, Manny Pacquiao, Shane Mosley, and Oscar de la Hoya are all big names that Mayweather defeated during his legendary career. But if Crawford had crossed paths with Mayweather, would he be on that list? When asked on the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast about how he'd fare against Floyd, Crawford didn't hesitate to back himself. Me versus anybody. Crawford's trainer, Brian Bomac McIntyre, shares the same confidence, though he admits he's a little biased, given their close relationship. Crawford is like my son, so I'm always going to back him, McIntyre says. Terence has that dog in him. He didn't get to where he is by accident. Crawford continues, it's taken years of hard work to get here, man. Me versus anybody. I'm always going to say me, no doubt. But if you put Bud in his prime against Mayweather in his prime, of course Mayweather would be the smarter one. But I think Bud would have more heart in him. The debate over whether Bud could break down Mayweather's famous defense will always be there. But a more realistic matchup for Crawford right now might be the fight between Floyd Mayweather and Canelo Alvarez when they faced off in their primes. In September, Shakur Stevenson shared that he believes Terence Crawford will defeat Canelo Alvarez and make it look easy. The WBC lightweight champion, who's been backing Crawford for years, stated that he's been saying all along that Crawford would beat Canelo. While a few years ago, many might have thought that idea was crazy, Stevenson believes that after seeing Crawford's incredible talent, people are starting to realize how real it is. Crawford, the WBA champion in the 154 pounds light middleweight division, has proven himself time and again, and Stevenson is confident in his ability to beat Canelo. Crawford, moving up to the middleweight division, has promised to add 14 pounds to compete in the highly anticipated matchup, which could be the biggest payday of his career. When asked if he believes Crawford will win, Stevenson was confident in his response. I've been saying this for years now. I was probably the first one to say it, even before Terence was saying it. I've always thought that Crawford's style would be a problem for Canelo. I think he beats Canelo, Stevenson told TalkSport Boxing. He made it clear that he believes Crawford has what it takes to take down the Mexican superstar. Crawford may stand toe-to-toe and trade blows with Canelo Alvarez in September, but that scenario seems unlikely given Crawford's usual approach when facing powerful punchers. He's a special fighter, pound for pound, and many consider him to be #1 in the world, right alongside other greats like yourself.
Pound for pound, I think many will say #1 in the world, alongside the likes of people like yourself and that great list that we've got at the minute.
While Canelo is known for his power, Crawford typically relies on his movement, using his jab to control the pace and leaping in to land shots before quickly repositioning. This is part of what makes him such a tough opponent, his ability to avoid taking big shots while still landing his own. Crawford doesn't stay stationary or engage in relentless attacks. His aggressive performance against Errol Spence was more of an exception, largely because Spence wasn't at his best after his car accident. It had only been a little over a year, about 13 months, since the crash. You've got to be very careful if you're going to take a fight above 160 pounds because it's a whole new weight range, said Chris Mannix on his YouTube channel. Regarding Crawford taking a tune-up fight, it seems unlikely he'd take the risk against a super middleweight, as he's typically known for his calculated approach and not jumping into dangerous situations without proper preparation. Middleweight before facing Canelo Alvarez in September beat Canelo. Yes, honestly, if anybody could jump up and wait CL didn't do it, it's Terence Crawford. I don't know nobody who is if Crawford does compete in the weight class, it would probably be at a catch weight, potentially around 163 or 164 pounds against a middleweight. Moving up possible opponents could include Aaron McKenna, Liam Smith, Austin Williams, or Kyron Davis, fighters who pose minimal threat to Crawford and are ranked lower in the middleweight division. Another. The debate about who is the greatest of all time in boxing will continue to spark conversations, with many arguing over the legacy of legends like Floyd Mayweather and Roy Jones Jr. Both have made an unforgettable impact on the sport, and each is regarded as the best pound-for-pound fighter of their respective eras. This has led to endless debates about who truly deserves the title of greatest of all time. When asked whether he respects Floyd Mayweather's 50-0 record, the answer is simple. You have to respect what someone accomplishes. Staying undefeated at that level is no small feat, and you can't take away what Mayweather achieved in his career. It's clear that the respect for his achievements is undeniable, even if there's a debate over who truly holds the title of the greatest. So I respect it to a degree, yeah. Is it a 50 no that I think, oh, he the greatest fight, all-time? No. Mayweather, with his perfect 50-0 record, is considered by many to be the greatest pound-for-pound boxer in history. His impenetrable defense and ability to control the pace of a fight made him a unique spectacle. Additionally, his career was marked by extraordinary commercial success, with 4 of the 5 highest grossing pay-per-view events in boxing history. However, Roy Jones Jr., an undisputed champion across 4 weight, Roy Jones Jr. holds a different view when it comes to the GOAT debate. In an interview with Real Life Productions, when asked if he considered Mayweather the greatest of all time, Jones gave a simple but emphatic response: no. Jones, known for his slick yet punishing style, was the first man in over a century to win a middleweight world title and then go on to claim a heavyweight title. Throughout his legendary career, he held top honors in 4 divisions and defeated the likes of James Toney, Bernard Hopkins, and Antonio Tarver. His unique and endlessly entertaining style made him a fan favorite and a fighter to be remembered. So Rocky Die Mayweather famously finished his campaign with a 50-0 perfect record, holding belts in 5 divisions and dazzling with a defense that is widely considered the very best in the business. He was also one of the most lucrative stars the sport has seen, claiming 4 of the top 5 biggest selling pay-per-view events. Speaking to Real Life Productions, Jones Jr. was asked if Mayweather's. When asked if Mayweather's undefeated record made him the greatest of all time, Roy Jones Jr. simply said, no, without hesitation. He went on to explain that there have been more impressive careers in boxing. You have to respect anything a person does to stay undefeated that long, and I respect it to a degree. But is 50-0 enough to say he's the greatest of all time? Nah. Jones pointed out that Julio Cesar Chavez went 87-0 at one point, adding, are you ever going to top that? He also mentioned that Floyd's undefeated streak ended at 50-0 because of...
You respect the Floyd 50-0, or is it like...
You gotta respect anything a person does and stay undefeated that long. So I respect it to a degree, yeah. Is it
Marciano's record, noting, if Rocky Marciano hadn't died, Floyd probably would have kept going. Jones emphasized that it's not just about the record, but about the whole legacy of fighter builds throughout their career. Have kept going too. If he wouldn't die, he probably kept going. 2 10th-round stoppage of UFC superstar Conor McGregor in his boxing debut. In the end, the debate over who is the GOAT will likely. Fueled by the unique accomplishments and philosophies of these 2 icons, the meeting became even more intriguing. After Mayweather and Crawford met, Eddie Hearn was also at the training camp to support Shakur Stevenson, creating a small gathering of some of the biggest names in boxing. While it's often said that what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, in today's world, with so many witnesses and cameras around, especially when celebrities are involved, it's nearly impossible to keep things under wraps. Add to that the buzz surrounding these champions, and it was bound to attract attention. What started as a private gathering quickly became a topic of discussion across the boxing world. When it comes to the name Floyd Mayweather, it's impossible to keep things under wraps. A recent meeting between Mayweather and famous promoter Eddie Hearn in a gym in Las Vegas definitely sparked some attention. Though the whole moment was filled with jokes and playful comments, it didn't mean there wasn't some tension between them. Mayweather spoke about the exchange, saying, I'm going to tell you what I like about Eddie. One day, someone showed me Eddie saying, boy, Mayweather ain't got no money. It's important to note that Hearn was repeating some rumors and comments, but the situation created enough buzz to make it clear that there's more than meets the eye when these 2 giants of a sport come together. A while back, there were claims made by some that Floyd Mayweather didn't have as much money as he claimed, and that this could be why he was seeking exhibition fights. Mayweather earned an astounding amount during his stellar boxing career, raking in over $1.2 billion in total earnings, including massive paydays from his bouts with Manny Pacquiao and Conor McGregor. Despite these reports, more recent figures suggest that Mayweather's current net worth is around $400 million. This has given him the means to live an extravagant lifestyle, full of luxury, and he continues to enjoy the fruits of his success outside of the ring. Squared circle. Despite retiring from the professional ranks in 2017, Mayweather has been fighting in a series of remunerative exhibitions against some lesser opposition, including Day and Logan Paul. That's why he doing exhibition. No, Eddie don't believe that now, but Eddie will say some __ like that. Eddie will say some No, but one thing the boxing legend has repeatedly insisted, he is earning 8-figure payday from each, even going as far as to nickname them legalized bank robberies. But when explaining why he was accepting exhibition fights, Mayweather insisted that it was all about continuing to build his generational wealth. However, Matchroom boxing promoter Eddie Hearn has suggested in multiple interviews that Mayweather's net worth might not be what many expect due to his lavish spending habits. Hearn said, "I don't think he's got the money he says he does. That's what I think. I don't think he needs the money, but when you have that lifestyle and you're spending what he's spending, you can't worry about that." It's clear that Hearn believes Mayweather's extravagant lifestyle might be taking a toll on his finances, but Mayweather himself sees these exhibitions as a way to keep building his wealth regardless. And Eddie got it clear, didn't we, Ed? Me and my buddy got it clear. We said as long as it's 10 or 20, no problem. Anything less the climax came when Money ran into him in Las Vegas and confronted him about it. The undefeated former boxer claimed that Hearn sometimes makes those kind of comments, and that they had even already cleared it up. So they began to joke as if the news had been real, to make jokes and to throw themselves at each other again, while their respective groups of friends celebrated.
I think sometimes when these guys carry on and they do the exhibitions and all that kind of stuff, it just sort of diminishes the legacy a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
And that's
What was? The two crossed paths in Las Vegas at a boxing gym while they were both in town for the fight between Diego Pacheco and Steve Nelson. Mayweather, in his usual playful manner, jokingly started a conversation, saying, "So one day, somebody showed me a message, 'cause you know I don't have social media on my phone. They showed me Eddie calling me, saying, Floyd Mayweather Jr. ain't got no money. That's why he's doing exhibitions." Mayweather laughed and added, "I had to show Eddie some of my accounts. It was all in good fun." But the exchange sparked some of the ongoing speculation about Mayweather's finances and why he's still taking on exhibition fights. Doesn't believe that I know he says some stuff like that, but me and Eddie got it clear. Mayweather had a smug grin across his face, as did Hearn, and the pair then shook hands. The promoter then responded, "Yeah, as long as it is 10 or 20, there is no problem. Anything less, it can't be less than 10. The gag sent Mayweather bursting out laughing with a member of his team, as it was abundantly clear there were no hard feelings. But what Ed Mayweather Jr. mentioned that he had even shown his bank accounts to Hearn. Mayweather then clarified, "Listen, I had to show Eddie some of my accounts." Hearn then concluded, "Imagine how much Floyd Mayweather would have made if I was his promoter. Do you know what I'm saying?" Mayweather is clearly not short of cash, and it is no wonder given his remarkable spending spree in recent months. The boxing legend has invested heavily in real estate, including his biggest ever $42 million purchase of a series of apartment blocks. Music. They say that many a true word is spoken in jest, but at least in reality. And in the light of the facts, this does not apply to Money, who remains one of the richest former sportsmen in the world. It is currently unclear if he has any more exhibitions lined up, but he has continued to be linked to lucrative return bouts. Hearn never promoted Mayweather, but likely wishes he did given the star power of the American his pay-per-view events against Pacquiao in 2015 and McGregor in 2017 remain the two biggest earning fights in the modern era. When I come out to do an exhibition or box and have some fun, I do it because I want to, not because I have to," Mayweather said, making it clear that his decisions to take on exhibitions are not out of necessity, but for his enjoyment. However, despite earning an absurd amount of money throughout his over 20-year boxing career, stories have surfaced over the years suggesting Mayweather may not always have been the smartest with his money. Even during the build-up to his massive fight against Conor McGregor in 2017, the Irishman hinted that Mayweather, despite being by far the most financially successful boxer of his time, might have had some tax issues. This only added to the ongoing narrative that Mayweather's finances might not always be as polished as his undefeated record. In a video, Floyd Mayweather was presented with a check, and with his signature flair, he intentionally announced the amount, saying, "You know what we do. The one and only Floyd Money Mayweather, CEO of Zeus. I appreciate you. You guys always do great business. That's 6 Zo's, not bad. It's a deal. I appreciate it, boy. Good to see you again, man." Coming up, the Money Man is back. You know what we do? His confidence and charisma were on full display, further reinforcing his larger-than-life persona and the ongoing brand he's built after his boxing career. Mayweather continues to make deals and maintain his position as a major figure in the business world. Do great business, and of